Dan Williams, Survive Outdoors. If you don't know what we do wilderness medicine videos. We talk about injuries in the outdoors, what you need to do in order to get back safely. We talk about prevention, zoonotic illnesses, ticks, spider bites, snake bites, broken bones, lacerations, you name it, we're on it. So today, hello, we're going to continue with the hand and talk about some hand injuries. This is obviously a model of a hand, and we're going to talk about one fairly common injury. The other one is a little more rare in the outdoors. First one that I've seen a bunch of is called the Mallet Deformity. So this joint right here, it's very common in sports. Football, baseball, volleyball. The ball's coming and it smacks your finger here. And if you remember, or you looked at the other videos, and I'll post them below, you have tendons on the top that make your fingers go up. You have tendons on the bottom called flexor tendons, and they make your fingers go down to clench a fist. So they're on both sides. So when you get hit here, that tendon can pop off of this distal phalanx is what this is called. And somebody will walk into the clinic and they're like this. And you may have seen some people like that and they just never got it repaired. Very common, if you're walking in the outdoors and you fall and your finger hits a rock, that's how this injury happens. Now this is called a mallet deformity, and there is a couple of different ways that this happens. So this is normal, where this tendon comes in and inserts here. And then the middle one, that is where just the tendon pops off the bone. And this one down here is where part of the bone is avulsed off. So those are all going to result in a mallet deformity. So what do you do if you're in the outdoors and you're days away from getting back in? So you're going to want to splint this. So you can do a couple things. If you purchase your regular splints, you can basically, you just need that joint. You don't need to go to this joint, but we're going to show you here. You want that like that. You can use duct tape. I've even seen creative people use paracord and wrap the splint around. And you can even hyperextend it like that. So there's about a little bit of an arch right there. Now, with the one that I showed you where the bone is avulsed off, those heal, have a much better outcome in terms of not needing surgery. 4 to 6 weeks and a splint, you are going to be married to this. You never take it off for 4 to 6 weeks. In fact, when we change splints in the clinic, we're going to be holding this finger up so we don't lose anything and put the other splint back on. Because if you take it off and it goes bloop, back down, you've lost everything you've gained. So you want that right there. Now, an important thing for, not necessarily for you guys, but for my provider friends, this surface of this joint, if this fracture of that entails 50% of the surface of that joint, that's going to be an automatic referral. Those are going to be pinned. So it depends on how much surface of that joint is actually involved. Now, if it's just the middle one where the tendon is avulsed off and there's no bone, that's a 6 to 8 week marriage with that splint. And a lot of, not a lot, but I would say in my experience about 30 to 40% I fail and it's an ortho referral. But I got about a 60-65% success rate with these. So you're in the outdoors, you don't have a splint, you don't have duct tape. What are you going to do? Well, what I did here is I took a stick, I batoned it. You could actually even hollow that out, and you're going to use that to splint that finger. And like I say, you will not take it off until you get back to the ED clinic where we can x-ray it and tell you what's involved. Is it a bone involved? Is it not? And this works just as well as any splint. You should have some duct tape in your backpack or the Medi-Rip to attach that splint onto that. So these are a little different than my other splitting video. This is a mallet deformity, and that is how you need to treat it in the outdoors for when you get back to a clinic. Now the other injury, which is pretty rare, I've only seen one of these in the outdoors, and that's called a jersey finger. And no, it's not the jersey finger where somebody's going to break your fingers because you were lost, you beat some guy at billiards or pool. So jersey finger is called that because an athlete is grabbing someone's jersey and they're running away. So that flexor tendon I talked about, that is on the bottom here of your finger, that makes your fingers do this. So I'm holding on to a jersey. Now, how does this happen in the outdoors? I had a guy that was actually in one hell of a storm. 40-mile-an-hour gusts. He's holding on to a tarp as hard as he can. It pocketed the wind, pulled it out of his finger, and the jersey finger then is starting to rain. The bottom side, not the top side, where that tendon is pulled off. Now they make a really cool splint for this. It's not where, this is very, very rare, but it's like a figure eight, like a rubber band, and it holds the finger like this. So as rare as that jersey finger is, you're still going to splint it in the outdoors. Come back, we're going to check it out. So those are the two splinting methods, really unique injuries. The mallet deformity is much more common, obviously. I'm going to put those links below to my other splints on fractures and dislocations. So those will be down below. If you have any questions or you have an experience, put it down below. Other than that, keep your eyes on the rise and your face to the wind. See you guys. Keep those fingers straight.